Retirement. Something that happened to me 5 years ago, and that does not make me feel dreadfully old. It was something I never imagined would happen. I never really considered it would happen, but in the end it came as a blessing to me that I was able to move off and do all sorts of things with Wheellerplays with the security of a wonderful teacher's pension. So thank you for making that situation come. And at the end of your career, people ask you, how do you evaluate it? And one of my evaluations was, I failed because I really wanted to be Ziggy Stardust, and I never did it, never managed it. But I did put on some good shows. I had a great time, and I think I managed to just about get away with being a teacher. And I'm lucky. I enjoyed my life. It was well paid. It was enjoyable. Had lovely relationships. Worked with wonderful people. So I'm not complaining. There's the little me. It looks like I wanted to be a teacher from a very early age. I went through the phase of wanting to be an astronaut, Ziggy Stardust, and a footballer, but a teacher was really what I wanted to. And always, and there's my first early school photograph, my very last one, I always looked at my teachers thinking, what's good, what's bad, from a really, really young age. And I don't know whether that's because my dad was a teacher and a very good one. But I had that thing, so I had role models in my head of how I don't want to be and who I do want to be. And one particular one was my head of house at Marlwood School, David Cook, who I can remember taking me in year 10, and I was a naughty kid, and he said to me, "There is more to you than this, Mark Wheeler." And it was that belief and that kind of building me up that I hope I took forward with me. As a teacher. The other thing, going back right to the beginning of my school life, is the double L thing. Miss Clough told me on my first day at school, your name is only spelt with one L. I went home and told my mum and dad, and they said it isn't, it's two L's. The next day I came home and said it's two L's, isn't it, mum and dad? And they'd obviously told the teacher. Happened with our children, and now when people Google me, if they don't use those two L's, they won't find me, they'll find some American footballer. And thank you, Salamander Street, because they have, in my new books that have just come out, they have kind of artistically done the L's in a different manner, and it's important, so please use that. So my schooling, well, I liked my schooling when it was friendly. I didn't like it when it was austere and distant, when teachers were in gowns and they were caning me. None of that was any good for me. I was an encouragement person. And I've always been a teacher who wants to get rid of the barriers that there are. I don't want to emphasise the difference in status. So the mark thing was important to me. The not having to line up before a lesson, just go in, sit down, have a chat. That's really important. And I have to say, at the very end of my career, teaching was moving in a direction where all those kind of statusy things were becoming far more important, and I was rallying against it. It wasn't for me. I would like to just look at the teaching and say, let's enjoy being in class, and let's work hard as well. And this is a picture of my last two year 10s. We had lots of people doing drama. So that's them, and that's me sitting with my little tie on. Had to have a tie. One regret I have is that I did that, but the kids had to do it as well, so you have to live with that. And I was at 3 schools: Stantonbury, which I loved; Epping, which I was able to bring a bit of Stantonbury to, and had a wonderful head teacher; and then Oaklands with Pete Hollis mostly. What an amazing school. And then Oasis Academy, where they wanted to introduce all sorts of different things, and that was a mixed bag, but there were some very good things, as I've said before, about that. What I look back on is the fun that we had as a department. So that's Johnny, myself and Danny doing an extract from Gagging for It. We enjoyed being together, and I think the students at our school knew that, and our department was a fun department to be in. And when I left, Johnny and Paul, the music teacher, here's Paul, there he is, playing music. They wrote some new words to David Bowie songs, and they gave me this lovely record, a big vinyl collector, And they gave me that to kind of commemorate my time as a teacher. Very cleverly written words, love them, so thanks very much to you two for that. And I had the most amazing send-off. And again, one of the things that I really love about that is that students from my first school, so Mark, Shiny and Dave, and me in the middle, we're still friends, we still see one another, we still meet up, and I think the last time the four of us were together was at my retirement do. But I'm very proud of that, and I had people across the years, students and a few ex-teachers, and they've remained in contact. And I'm just going to finish with something that was really important, because one of my tutor group in 1986, Joe Dunlow, texted me a few years ago when I said I'd included her in a book about Too Much Punch for Judy. And she said this: "I wouldn't really expect you to mention me. I was only a dinky part of it. It's more about all of our relationships to me." Great. I feel exactly the same, Joe. And thank you for a lovely, fantastic, enjoyable, rewarding career. Teaching's good.